Here's something doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family doesn't just disappear at night. It follows you into the bedroom. It can be lying next to the woman you have loved for years, and suddenly your mind will not let your body do what it has always done naturally. For situations like that, doctors look for treatments that help both body and the brain, and that's where Rougiette Ready comes in. Unlike Viagra and Cialis, Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to help increase blood flow and prime your brain for arousal. It combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes, so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. Over 400,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiette. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a board-certified doctor online, and your treatment ships discreetly to your door. For a limited time only, head to Rougiette.com/dogs to get 15% off your order. That's Rougiette, Rougiette.com/dogs to get 15% off. Make sure to use our link so they know we sent you. Rougiette.com/dogs.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh All, and I got Kenny Mack with me today.
Let's go, baby.
That's right. Me and Kenny, we are coming back as promised. Free agency preview part 2. Free agency, as we know, opens up here in just a few days. Monday, the legal tampering period. It is Monday, right? I think Monday's when that opens up, and the new league year officially begins on Wednesday. So these deals and everything, the big deals that'll be announced Monday, and deals will be made official on Wednesday, and free agency is underway. So we'll see what the Browns, obviously, we've already made the trade for Titus Howard, started rebuilding that offensive line. We've got some signing to do in free agency, and then obviously the draft as well. So we got a little bit of news to go over real quick before we get started, and then we'll dive into that free agency preview. Before we do, remind everybody, if you want to be part of the Dog Pack community and you want to join our private Discord, head to jointhedogs.com, hang out with everybody in there, be part of the Dog Pack Discord live episodes, and get in early for the fantasy football leagues, which will be, I mean, it's crazy, but here we are. It's March, and you know we start putting the feelers out and the registration for fantasy leagues in June, so only a few months away from that. So that's jointhedogs.com. Okay, so Kenny's going to help me through the news here. The first bit, the Browns have tendered 6 of their 7 exclusive rights free agents, so that would be tight end Brendan Bates, wide receivers Malachi Corley and Jamari Thrash, linebacker Winston Reed, long snapper Rex Sunahara, and kicker Andre Schmidt. The only guy who did not get tendered was cornerback Anthony Kendall. So there we go, Kenny. How you feeling about these tendered exclusive rights free agents?
It's pretty much a no-brainer to get these guys. The main thing is I'm feeling way better about my special teams right now. I mean, with Schmidt, Sahara, I mean, those are Sahara. Those are guys that are, you know, were a great part of the team last year, and they can only continue to build, and they can help our new guy Storr get to where he needs to be. And from what I've seen from Storr, I mean, he's a guy that has developed the kickers, developed the punters, so that's good. Hopefully we get a good kick returner. I mean, that's maybe something Corley can help with. Maybe he can be a gunner. We know Winston Reed does really well in the special teams. So a lot of times when I'm looking, and we'll get into the free agents, I'm looking to see if they play special teams, because that was a thorn in our side last year, and like what I see with those guys. But yeah, no brainer getting these guys to 1-year minimums.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're all very, I mean, they use 1-year minimum deals, very low costs and everything else, which kind of leads me to the next thing we can talk about. Speaking of very low cost, this news came out the other day, put out a short video about it afterward, but the Arizona Cardinals have informed Kyler Murray, their quarterback, that they're going to release him when the new league year starts on Wednesday. So he's going to be a free agent, and he's going to be literally a free agent. This guy, the Cardinals, whenever we talk about this situation with Kyler Murray, think about the Broncos with Russell Wilson when the Steelers signed him. So the Broncos cut Russell Wilson. They had to eat all that dead cap and everything, but they were doing it so they didn't have to pay the guaranteed money that was owed the following year, all that stuff. The Steelers got to sign Russell Wilson for the vet minimum, $1.21 million. Kyler Murray can be signed for the vet minimum, $1.3 million this year. So essentially, on an NFL salary cap, that's a free player. For a quarterback, you're basically not even paying him. So what are your thoughts about Kyler Murray? Would he be a fit for the Browns?
Well, my initial thought was like, if a guy needs to have video games or no video game playing written into his contract, no thanks. But the fantasy guy in me, the guy that puts him on my teams because he can get yards, he can get points. I had to really think about this. And while I'm still not like, I guess if it was worth more money, I'd be more apprehensive. But the way that you put it, because I didn't hear what you said when you put out your content earlier today or yesterday, but that $1.3 million for what he can do is very tantalizing, number one. Number two, I just keep hearing Todd Monken in my head, and I think it was the HBO interview that he did talking about off script or off schedule plays. And man, if there's anything that guy can do is those plays. And, Monken's looking for that trait with a player to sign them and exploit that one elite talent. And I think we can all agree Kyler Murray has elite talent of off script or off schedule plays.
Yeah, for sure. And I said in my video the other day, like, I've never been the biggest Kyler Murray fan. I mean, but I also can't deny that he's a good quarterback. He can play very high level quarterback play in the NFL. It's more about consistency for me and just being able to, again, consistently elevate the players around you and be at that high level as a quarterback. That's been a little bit up and down for Kyler Murray, but man, for 1.3 vet minimum, that would almost be like a no-brainer for the Browns and this is where it all comes into play, if he actually wanted to come here, because Kyler Murray is obviously going to have a lot of people lining up. His agent's phone is going to be blowing up on Wednesday or probably already with teams saying, hey, we would like to talk to you guys about coming in here. And I think the Vikings have been the biggest team, the team I've seen the most linked to him. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say they would be the biggest draw with the weapons that they have. Why would you not go there? You could go maybe to the Jets. They could offer more money. They have Garrett Wilson. They have Breece Hall, right? They have some weapons, but I mean, the Jets have been the Jets, and that's, coming from a Browns fan, right? So, he's kind of does have the pick of his litter just a bit because there are QB needy teams. So we'll see what happens, but it'll always be the question of leadership. You mentioned the inconsistency. That probably has to do with, putting in his contract that you need to study your playbook more, not play video games. You know what I mean? So, and then maybe you'll be more consistent and maybe that'll make him grow up and maybe you'll have a Baker Mayfield renaissance.
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, so Kyler Murray definitely switching teams here this offseason. Then the last bit of news for the Browns specifically, we did cut Cornelius Lucas, the offensive tackle that we signed last year in free agency, which it was a guy I was really excited about. I thought, hey, what he had done in Washington with the Commanders was really good. He had been a backup, but also a spot starter. And when he did have to come in and start, he could play both left or right. And he graded out very well. And then we signed him and he sucked. I don't know how else to say it. He was just absolutely flat out terrible, was a healthy and active most of the season. So definitely saw this one coming. I think the Browns clear up like $1.8 million in the cap or something like that. Either way, Cornelius Lucas was not going to be on this roster again.
Yeah, didn't play well, wish him the best. Just didn't work out for his 1 year here. And he's off to somewhere else and we're off to something new.
Yep, just another one of the offensive linemen who mysteriously just suddenly aged out in Cleveland. So you had Cornelius Lucas and Jack Conklin and Wyatt Teller and Ethan Posick and Joel Bitonio somehow all aged out at the same exact time. I don't know. Something tells me there might have been something to do with the offensive system that you have all these guys suddenly can't play football anymore, which I just don't believe it. I don't know. I don't buy it, but whatever.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where these guys go and how their careers transform into good or bad or probably good.
Yeah, probably good. All right. Well, was that it for the news? Remind me, was there anything I was forgetting there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll bring something up in the end, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what that has to be then. All right, so we'll kick it over to this free agency preview part 2. Last time, if you guys missed that episode, go back and check it out. We had a lot of good. We focused primarily on the offense, offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends, things like that. And today, I know I focused solely on defense. I think, Kenny, you got 1 or 2 offensive guys, right, today?
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the map, because we need things everywhere, I will say that I continued from last episode, just quick, high motor, high effort guys, mentally tough guys, smart players who can execute under pressure, versatile players with at least one elite trait, team first players who love football. If you guys remember, I just took that away from Monken's presser, basically. And the simplest way to describe it is, they're not just talented. They just don't have the metrics that we just saw everybody go through at the combine. They're tough, accountable, intelligent, and obsessed with improving. And the main thing is they own up to their mistakes.
Okay. Well, those are definitely the type of players we need in Cleveland. So who's the first one on your list? I'll let you kick things off today.
Yeah, Nick Westbrook, Inkine, I think you say his name.
I think it's Akine.
Akine, is it? Oh, okay. I was like
so.
Being I sounded German on that anyways. So, but
I could be wrong too. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I did follow the Dolphins last year, and in his previous team before that. But he's a guy that's 28 years old, and he's 6'2", 211 pounds. So he's a solid dude. He's a receiver. He was undrafted from Indiana. 93 games in his career. He has 137 receptions, 1,862 yards, but he has 19 touchdowns, which is pretty impressive. So pretty much split time. Started off with the Titans, like I said, undrafted free agent, had the Dolphins last year. This guy, he's got strength, consistently can catch the ball and contested catches with that 6'2" frame, known for scoring TDs. And that's always good because that's something that we didn't do last year. And that's something what I really like. So his red zone efficiency, guys, in 2024, just 32 catches, 9 touchdowns. That's really bumped him up on the touchdown scale. Vertical, and he does have some explosive plays. He also averaged 15.5 yards a catch in 2024. The biggest thing, though, with him, he was frequently used, especially with the Titans and heavy run personnel. That's what I like. He's a willing perimeter blocker, and he has had some really good blocking games. His weakness, guys, like, I don't want to get too much into it. He's not a high-end route runner or doesn't really break with burst, but I mean, I'm not looking for him to be my number 1 receiver here. What I have is a guy that's going to be our 5th, maybe 6th receiver. If we keep 6th receiver, he's going to be a core special teamer. I'm hoping he's can be a guy that's a gunner, a guy that can tackle. And you know what? If we have one of our high-end receivers are injured, it looks like he can throw some yards up in the game. And all I really want him to do is be like a Kadero Hodge. He was a guy that could pop in our offense when somebody was hurt. He could get a first down. He would catch the ball. He would know where he's supposed to be. Another guy, completely different position, but was Dearness Johnson. He was just a serviceable veteran. And that's, I think, what we need to solidify our special teams. But I don't know how many times Josh has said it's a guy that we just don't have developed yet. And that's what we're buying for our money. Previously, he had a contract. It was 2 years, $6.25 million. I think it's about the same market value for him. So that kind of fits in Barry's wheelhouse. So overall with this guy, route discipline, reliable hands, effort blocking, which is big because if you don't play a lot, but you know how to block as a receiver, that's good. And if a quarterback gets injured too, if you can block, it's awesome. Obviously, he's a mentally tough guy. Undrafted from Indianapolis, made the Titans. He's got a second contract with another team. He's been through it all. So this is a guy that I'd love to have on my team.
Yep. Like you said, definitely not one of your top wide receivers. It's kind of like he's a jag. He's just a guy, but he's a good jag. He's like everything you just detailed. to have him on your roster to come in and help support the receivers that are above him on the depth chart. And like you said, the versatility on the special teams is really good. So I like that call. We'll just say Nick Westbrook because I don't know if it's a Kine or however you said it, but either way, could be a good option and definitely a low-cost option for the Browns. So I'm going to move over to the cornerback position because like I said, didn't do a whole lot of defensive players at all last time. So I'm going to go back to the secondary cornerback. I got two guys I'm going to talk about real quick. So the first one is Roger McCreary. He's 5'11", 190, 26 years old, drafted by the Tennessee Titans in 2022. He was an early second-round pick. They took him 35th overall. He got traded to the Rams in October this past season for a late-round pick swap, and then he missed like 4 games with a hip injury. They placed him on IR, and then he came back week 18, and then he played very well during the Rams playoff run. He graded out highly on PFF. He had a 72.1 defense grade, 68.6 against the run, 63 grade again for tackling, and then a 72 in coverage. And he's primarily a slot corner, so he would fit well in the depth chart with Ward and Campbell on the outside. And Spotrac has him projected for a 2-year, $12.3 million deal at $6.2 million per year. So I think that's a good fit in that secondary with those other outside corners there. So Roger McCreary is a name I've got my eye on. And then the second guy here, this is somebody I definitely think has a strong chance of ending up in Cleveland this year, and it's D. Alford, the free agent cornerback from the Falcons. He played in Mike Rutenberg's secondary last year, 5'11", 175. So he's a thinner, smaller built cornerback, 28 years old. Atlanta signed him as a UDFA in 2022. So there you go, Kenny. There's your mentally tough UDFA guy coming in here and earning his spot and his keep and everything for several seasons. It looks like he's either started or at least been a high snap count player for the Falcons every season. And like McCreary, Alford plays primarily in the slot. He actually had 2 sacks in 2025. Side note, I'm actually really excited to see what Rutenberg adds to the defense with his expertise in the secondary and disguising coverages and being more attacking from that side of the defense. Let's see, Alford, 56 tackles, 3 interceptions, 3 pass breakups, and 2 touchdowns allowed last season. And Spotrac has him projected to a 2-year, $11.8 million deal at $5.9 million per year. So again, fits that lower cost, but can come in and have an impact on the defense. So I think that D. Alford, one of Mike Rutenberg's guys in the past, could definitely be a Cleveland Brown next year. This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the draft? Will the Browns make their pick at 6, or will they trade out of that spot? And in other sports, will the Cavs win the NBA Finals? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right? Here's something doctors know that most men never talk about. Stress from work, money, and family doesn't just disappear at night. It follows you into the bedroom. It can be lying next to the woman you have loved for years, and suddenly your mind will not let your body do what it has always done naturally. For situations like that, doctors look for treatments that help both body and the brain, and that's where Rougiette Ready comes in. Unlike Viagra and Cialis, Rougiette Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to help increase blood flow and prime your brain for arousal. It combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes, so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. Over 400,000 men have already made the switch to Rougiet. Getting started is simple. Rougiet connects you with a board-certified doctor online, and your treatment ships discreetly to your door. For a limited time only, head to Rougiet.com/dogs to get 15% off your order. That's Rougiet, RUGIET.com/dogs to get 15% off. Make sure to use our link so they know we sent you. Rougiet.com/dogs.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I actually did some stuff on him as well. I pretty much have everything you had. I actually didn't go with him just based on his size, but I love how he went for the nickel position because that's something we haven't done very well. But I'll transition into mine. I actually did his teammate, Isaiah Oliver. And you know what? You and I are, we've been through this before. You put together who was comfortable with their previous coaches. And I think both these guys were. For Isaiah Oliver, I got him at corner, obviously, but I got him at the nickel slot hybrid DB, so he can kind of play all over the place, which would help you disguise defenses if you don't really know where he exactly is going to play. He is a guy that's been in the league for 7 years. He's drafted in 2018, second round, played for the Falcons, and he's played for the 49ers. And this guy, pretty good stats. I mean, 90 games, 65 starts, 320 tackles, 7 interceptions, 35 pass breakups. When he was in San Francisco, he played that hybrid role. So he was basically a nickel corner, dime safety. He matched up against tight ends very well, which is something that you need in the AFC North. He's a bigger corner, which I like. If he's going to play, if he's the guy that we select for the slot or the nickel, I mean, that's something. Being big might be something that would be advantageous for us. As far as his run defense, looks like he's a very physical defender. He's very comfortable, sets the edge well, tackles in space, plays downhill, and that's something that Monken said in his interviews. Scheme versatility, he can play man. I think they did a lot more cover 3, but I think we're going to stay in that. And then he does pattern match zones, dime packages. So that's the experience that fits that Rutenberg style, which he came from. So there are some limitations, but again, I don't expect him really to start. He's not a burner. He had an ACL in 2021. He has some outside corner limitations, why he sticks more inside. I see this guy, again, he's going to be getting something maybe about the same deal that Alford's getting. So that's a guy, again, that would just hunker down our secondary just in case somebody gets injured. But the main thing, it's a guy that if we don't get D. Alford, he's a guy that could solidify our nickel position. And hell, maybe why not treat ourselves? Let's take them both.
That's right. Why not? You can never have enough DBs. They get hurt and things happen. And then whenever you start going to the depth pieces, I mean, I don't want Miles Harden being the top of my depth. I need somebody else to be able to come in and fill in because I just don't believe in what he's shown so far in his first couple seasons.
I just didn't know with my guy. I couldn't find enough information on him if he was a special teams player. I didn't look at my PFF metrics yet. One thing I could tell you about D. Alford, though, he did play with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, so he came out of the CFL. I believe he was a kick returner there, and he has returned some kicks, so he had some value there as well that I really liked. A slightly faster guy because he's smaller. Hey, either way, I mean, if you're backing up in the NFL these days and you're not playing special teams, probably won't be with a team very long.
I'm looking at it right now, Kenny, and last year for the Jets, he played on 75% of the special team snaps.
Oh, great.
300 total snaps on special teams. That's the most of his career. The year before that, he played 150. The year before that, 169. So he's always been like in the 30 to 40% snap range on special teams, but last year it did bump up to 75%. So he's definitely been on that side or that unit for those guys.
Yeah. Okay, great. So it looks like, he could be a guy that hunkers down that nickel position and then be a core special teamer for us. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'm going to move into my other guy, and this is my last secondary guy for the show today, but we desperately need a safety. Even if we do, I know Ronnie Hickman is a restricted free agent, so we could place a tender on him. Another team could offer him a deal. We'd have a chance to match it or beat it or whatever to then bring him back to us. But it's not a locked-in guarantee that Ronnie Hickman will be back. And even if he is, we need somebody in that secondary at the safety position along with Grant Delpit. And I'm going to swing a little bit bigger here for the Browns at this position because I think it's important. And I'm going to go with Kevin Byard, 5'11", 212, 32 years old. So this would go away from the younger trajectory of the team, but you also can't have all your guys be 25 years or under. You know what I'm saying? So Byard, this dude is a stud. He has been a stud for years. He spent 7 years with the Titans, spent part of 2023 in Philadelphia, and the last 2 seasons in Chicago with the Bears. He's a three-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time NFL interceptions leader, something we don't do very well in Cleveland or haven't. This guy can do it all. High tackle numbers. Hey, at 100 tackles in 2024, 77 this past season in 2025, 7 picks, 2 pass breakups. He can fill that free safety role with Delpit playing in the box, but Byard can also come down into the box as well, and he's played a lot of snaps in the slot. So he's very versatile. He can line up in different places in the secondary for the defense. And the great part is with his age and at the point he is in his career, his contract, at least according to Spotrac, would be easily manageable by the Browns. They have him projected for a 2-year, $15.6 million deal, so that's about $7.8 million per year. This would fit well with the way that we're building the team right now. And to me, this kind of a signing would be very similar to what the Browns did last year when they signed a 30-year-old named Malik Collins to a 2-year, $20 million deal, and that panned out very well for the Browns at a position they needed help at. So I think Kevin Byard could fill the same type of role in the secondary this season.
Yeah, it's interesting that you picked that guy because I love the secondary position and a veteran. And we did that with Rodney McLeod, man. And he really settled that secondary down well. And I think this is a guy that could do the exact same, way different player than Rodney. But I mean, his turnover knack. I mean, if you know anything, you've seen this guy on Sports Desk with his highlight interceptions, turning some tie to the game over to help his team get a win. I think that would be fantastic for our backfield. Our defensive backfield is what I wanted to say. And he's a guy that maybe could let Delpit play closer to the line of scrimmage, would help our run game, our run support as well. So I really like that one, man. And it's a position I was hoping to look into, and I just couldn't settle on a safety, but I just guess I missed him.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing, kind of going through the list, and I just kept coming back to Byard and his accolades and what he's done in the NFL. And I said, screw it. Let's go a little bit bigger here. Now, again, it's not an enormous contract that we'd be on the hook for with him, but it would be similar to what they did with Malik Collins last year, was they paid him a little bit more than maybe people were expecting for a little bit older of a player and all that stuff. But man, did he ever come in here and solidify that defensive interior on the line. So that's what I'm looking for them to do in the secondary, that free safety position.
Yeah, and again, we need players for the defense, and that's huge. I mean, I got a defensive guy next. I have Cole Holcomb from the Steelers last year. He's a guy that's played very well for him, but if you think about it, just having a guy that's 6'1", 240 pounds sounds like a thumper. He's 29 years old. He's a little bit older than what Barry wants to sign, but it's like you said, you can't have 24, 25-year-olds. It's not the way. Plus, I mean, a veteran for our crew would be ideal, I would think. This guy was drafted in 2019, round 5, out of North Carolina. He was drafted by Washington, I believe. This guy's a 3-down linebacker, and he signed with Pittsburgh in the 2023. Main strengths with this guy is a tackling machine. Tackles a very high rate, and I know we've had some struggles tackling, especially. I feel like every game, Josh, I'm like, can we not tackle somebody in the flats? It drives me bonkers. And this guy flows sideline to sideline very well, which is stuff that I kind of hear in Moncton's pressers about Rutenberg. You know what I mean? Diagnoses a run very quickly, good pursuit angles. This guy, comfortability wise with coverage, super good in zone drops. He's produced interceptions as well. Motor and toughness. I mean, the guy plays through traffic. He's a high effort defender, and this is what coaches love, right? Injury history has been a weak point for him. But again, it's not a guy that I don't know if I'm necessarily signing him to start. I just need some depth from this guy. He's not a true athlete either. He's more instinctive, but I mean, if he's sideline to sideline, that's good enough for me. And if he's slightly over aggressive, I'm okay with that. I mean, we want aggressive guys. You've heard it from Monken say it over and over in his pressures. We want to be violent, and this guy is a violent guy. The biggest thing about his injury history, I guess, he suffered serious knee injury, significant ligament damage. So he missed most of the 2023 season, but seemed to be okay the last couple of seasons for Pittsburgh. So his previous contract when he was with the Steelers, just so you can get a idea of it, about $6 million a year. Now you're maybe more pivoting to $4 million a year with some incentives up to $5 million. So I would just do a 1-year prove it deal with him till we can figure some stuff out in the linebacker area. But for the most part, I think Rutenberg is looking for fast linebackers. From what I read, he's sideline to sideline, instinctive player. We went over that. Aggressive downhill traits, which he can diagnose those run plays, and he's a reliable tackler. So it's a guy that I think can also perform in special teams, and I think he'd be a good contributor for this team if something were to happen where maybe Schlesinger couldn't play for a bit.
Nope, I like that call for Cole Holcomb for sure, and I'm glad you moved into linebacker. So I've got 3 players remaining here on my list to talk about. All 3 are linebackers, so I'm just going to run through all 3 of them real quick, and then my list is wrapped up for the day. But obviously, to kick off my linebacker discussion, I want Devin Bush back at linebacker, but if they can't get him back, we do need help at the linebacker position in a bad way. So the first guy on my list, I got Matt Milano, free agent from the Bills, 6 foot, 223 pounds. He's 31 years old, played 12 games in 2025 and had 67 tackles, 7 tackle for loss, 3.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Now, obviously, he's a little bit older of a player, not the high level player he was during his age, like 25 to 28 seasons in his prime, but still fits the bill for the Browns right now. You get a veteran linebacker, decent outside linebacker. Spotrac market value is just a 1-year, $4.6 million contract. That's right in Andrew Berry's wheelhouse for that kind of a deal. Now, moving to the next guy, if the Browns are willing to pay Devin Bush the projected contract value that they have for him, which is about $9 million per year, but say Devin Bush decides he's going to sign somewhere else, he doesn't want to come back to Cleveland. Another guy that they could turn to with that type of contract in mind is Quincy Williams, free agent from the Jets.
Oh, yes.
Okay. 5'11", 225 pounds. This guy, he's almost 30 years old, played 13 games in 2025, made 83 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. And that was coming off 4 straight seasons of 100 plus tackles. And he had 139 in 2023. This is one of the fastest linebackers in the NFL. He's very good in coverage, 7 pass breakups in 2025. He has that sideline to sideline range and speed that we're missing with JOK out of the lineup. And if Devin Bush doesn't come back, Quincy Williams is a playmaking linebacker, gets guys down behind the line of scrimmage. He's an attacking style linebacker. So theoretically would be a good fit in this Jim Schwartz-esque defense that we're trying to replicate under Mike Rutenberg. Spotrac predicts a 1-year, $9.2 million deal. So right in the same vicinity as Devin Bush. If I'm Andrew Berry, I'm spending the money to either bring back Devin Bush or I'm going to sign a guy like Quincy Williams if I can. Even if it takes a 2-year deal to get the job done, then I'm drafting a rookie outside linebacker at some point and hoping he develops into the next guy when this contract here is up. So that's kind of my big spend at linebacker if the Browns decide to go that route. And then finally, my last linebacker, if the Browns are just looking at like a cheap 1-year deal type of guy, is EJ Speed, free agent from the Texans. 6'4", 227 pounds, almost 31 years old, 62 tackles, 3 TFL in 2025, had 142 tackles in 15 games just the year prior in 2024 with the Colts. He's kind of a hybrid linebacker. He can play multiple positions on the field. He also presents some value on special teams units as well. And Spotrac has him listed for a 1-year deal worth about $4.8 million. So that would be my cheaper 1-year deal contract for the Browns at linebacker.
Yeah, dude, I love it because I also brought up Quincy Williams as well. And the biggest thing that reminded me, he didn't have the height, but he's about the same weight as JOK. And it's a guy that while he's only 225, I mean, you have him as kind of like this weak side off ball linebacker. I thought I read somewhere where he could even be like dime safety or something like this.
Okay.
And if you're looking to disguise your coverages, and you've already worked with the guy as Rutenberg has, then I think it's a no-brainer to sign this guy. And I like what you said too. Like, I mean, we're looking for guys that can cover sideline to sideline, but he also runs downhill at his side, like with those TFLs, man. Like that's something big, and that's great that you picked that up because I was busy at work and I quick put that in my notes, and I completely forgot until you said it. And if his contract's big, that's great. But again, a guy that plays fast, he's aggressive. He's a guy that can do the system that we currently have, and he executes consistently. That's what we want.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you drew the comparison to JOK because I'm not expecting Quincy Williams to come here and do what JOK was doing, like on that level. But JOK light, can he give you some of that production and give you some of that impact that JOK was, producing on defense for the Browns? Yes, I think Quincy Williams would be a great fit in that linebacking core with Carson Schlesinger and whoever else we decide to bring in. Yeah,
it's the same reason why I like Nakobe Dean. Like, I mean, it's just he plays the Mike position, but he's a guy that is the exact same like trait wise, just a different position, and I think he would fit well in. But I mean, to have two Mikes on your team that are really good and pay them isn't very realistic. But as far as talent goes, I mean, whether he wanted to move positions or whatever, it's that those are the kind of players that I think I'm looking for this Rutenberg style of defense.
This episode is brought to you by Baden Sports. Browns fans, Baden Sports is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear. Baden started out perfecting and manufacturing the best balls in the business. Yeah, if that sounded dirty, that's more about your mind than my words. But hey, it's true. Baseballs, softballs, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, you name it, and Baden has engineered the highest standard sports balls available. And now they offer more than just sports balls. If you got kids playing baseball or softball, Baden has batting gloves and bats to go along with both game balls and training balls. If you're into basketball, Baden makes basketball specifically for indoor or outdoor use. Heck, Baden even has all the equipment you need for pickleball, which is one sport that I hear everyone is playing, and yet I still never have. And I need to fix that soon. But don't miss the backyard games section of Baden's website, where you can order everything you need for this upcoming outdoor season. Pool balls, backyard volleyball nets, croquet, bocce, horseshoes, cornhole, and more. Right now, you can get 10% off your entire order at Baden Sports, BADEN sports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. That's 10% off all the top quality sporting gear you need this season. BadenSports.com/dogs. That wraps up my list of free agents for this part two of the preview. Kenny, how many do you have left?
I just really have one more guy, and I'm just running through it right now. It's a tight end, and he's with the Ravens. And obviously, you and I have like put together like all these guys that have played with our new set of coaches, which is actually our coaches staff is finally like complete. Yeah. I guess with the signing of Todd Monken's son as quality control or whatever his position
analyst.
is. But this guy's name's come up a couple times in our Discord. He's come up in the comments for our different pods, and it's Charlie Kohler. And this guy is 6'6". He's 252 pounds. He's basically like the kid that's going to get drafted out of Notre Dame. He seems like he has the same attributes, except obviously the kid out of Notre Dame's going to be a little bit younger. This guy's out of Iowa State, drafted in 2022, round 4. He's got a lot of experience with Monken, which is great, and they'll definitely help us out if this is somebody that we can sign. 168 receptions, 2,181 yards, 23 touchdowns, man. Like a guy that's 6'6", helps you with those off-schedule plays, because those are those jump balls that you can get in the corner of the end zone. He's got strong hands. He runs intelligent routes. And obviously, clearly by the number of touchdowns he has, he's a red zone, got a great red zone ability, that is. So he's played 40 games. He started 10. I think when you have Isaiah Likely in front of you and you have Andrews in front of you, you're not going to get a lot of playing time. So if we can get this guy some playing time, and he's a guy that if we don't get the Cade Otton, as we mentioned earlier, he's not going to be my blocking linebacker. Oh, even though I think he's got the ability to do it. This guy is just a guy that will find soft spots in zone coverage. He's going to be something that Moncton wants in his heavier packages, of course, but he's got that great catch radius, like at 6'6" with the long arms. He gives the quarterback that big target, and it's something that we really need for our red zone again. And I keep getting back to that because we just don't score enough packages. So he'd be awesome in a goal line, 31 personnel, stuff along that lines. I think I'm seeing this guy kind of as more of a high ceiling player, but as we're going through, and I know as you guys hear all the different guys that we're looking to sign, these are all guys that are going to fill in the back depth. These guys are the guys that are going to provide our team some great ability in game when the guys ahead of them can't start, like our all pros, like our Fannons and that kind of stuff. And they're going to get key first downs because we just don't have that. Because we mentioned in the last episode, we just haven't developed the draft capital that we've had in the last 3 years, 4 years to come along. So that has to be bought now. And this guy to be bought is missing his contract here, but yeah, 2 years, about $6 million, maybe $4 million. About $3 to $4 million average. So, and you'd guarantee about half that. And that's a guy, again, that would fit in a room. Would I like Cade Otton more? Yes. Would this guy fit in a room? And does he have the rapport with Monken? He does. So we'll see what happens.
I've seen Charlie Kolar's name thrown around so much in relation to the Browns just because of the Monken and the coaching staff connections and all that kind of stuff. And I think it makes a ton of sense. And to me, it's like, I'm trying to give, so people out there who don't know who this is or anything, just, I would think of it more of Blake Whiteheart upgrade.
Yeah.
Because like last year we had David Njoku, we had Harold Phantom was kind of that move tight end. We could put him out and he was our pass catching weapon at the position. But then Blake Whiteheart was filling in and, like you said, on the packages where we needed another blocking tight end. And he could also run out and, run routes, catch passes, be a red zone threat. But Charlie Kolar would be the upgraded version of Blake Whiteheart with a higher ceiling, like you mentioned, to potentially do even more. So that's kind of how I'm thinking of this guy.
Yeah, and he's got special teams values, like typically a tight end that's going to be in the position he is, probably second, maybe third at tight end. These guys generally are kickoff returners. Sorry, they don't do that. They are blocking for that.
On kickoff return, clear. Yes.
Yeah. Usually field goal unit, punt protection, those kind of things. And that's all things that will help our new special teams coordinator Storr get to where he needs to be, and us having a better special teams unit than dead last.
Yeah, no kidding. That's exactly what we need. So I guess that rounds out free agent preview part 2. So if you guys missed part 1 or you just want to go recap who we touched on in part 1, go back and check out that episode. Again, free agency starts Monday with the legal tampering period, and then, all the deals are going to be wheeling and flying and all that kind of stuff. And then new league year begins on Wednesday, which, wow, just a week from today. It's crazy. The time has really flown. But that's where we are. So if you guys have other free agents in mind for the Browns that you think they should look into or try really hard to sign or that we didn't mention, drop it in the comments. Let us know who you're thinking about. And Kenny, you said you might have one thing for the end of the show.
Did you want to talk about the question you sent me instead of the link?
Yeah. So just so you guys know, I sent Kenny the link to do this recording, and I had copied a question that I was using for like the title of the short video I just put out. And instead of pasting the link in the email, I sent him that question, which it's a fair one. I did want to bring it up. So the question was, This has been going around social media here today. We know Andrew Berry talked to the Cardinals about the availability of their wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. So the question on social media today has been, would you, if you're the Browns, trade pick 39, your early pick in the second round, to the Cardinals for Marvin Harrison Jr.? I know my answer. Kenny, what is your answer?
That was for 39, right?
39, yep. What did I say?
I would do that in a heartbeat, man, because I said it yesterday or 2 days ago when we were talking on the Discord. I believe if he came out with all the accolades that he came out 2 years ago, he'd be the best receiver in this draft, is what I would say.
Yes.
And I just feel like if you are one of the guys out there that are into wanting to have A.J. Brown, I would way rather have Marvin Harrison Jr. as a size, like smooth runner, and maybe kind of the Devontae Adams, like the big receiver traits. I know he doesn't have the elite speed, but I don't care because I'll still draft Tate. I just want somebody that's going to catch the ball and give me first downs. And I just think this guy, as far as where do I have it here? Like his route running, his catch radius, contested catches. These are all things that I want out of Tate. I just think he does it better than him, in my opinion. And it hasn't shown itself yet based on injury, hasn't shown itself yet based on the inability to have the same quarterback, and him and Kyler Murray never just connected, but he's going to connect with somebody. He's got the tools. So I'm 100% throwing 39 down on that, and I'll draft 2 linemen then, or still another receiver. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, I said, yeah, heartbeat. You get 39, I get Marvin Harrison Jr. Done. Deal done. Where do we sign? Let's do this because, and we talked about this the other night on the Discord show and everything, but I think it's worth mentioning again that not every one of these wide receivers breaks out to be an elite wide receiver 1 in the NFL right away. It's a tall task or a tall ask, a lot to put on these guys to come in at 21, 22 years old immediately in the NFL and produce at the level that Justin Jefferson was able to produce or Jamar Chase their rookie years. It just doesn't happen with everybody. You get the guy, you get the Puka Nakuas who come in right away because they're in a great environment. They got a great coach, great quarterback, and it all just clicks and it works. Sometimes you're Marvin Harrison Jr. and you go to a terrible team with a terrible coaching staff, a quarterback who can't see you, going back to the Kyler Murray conversation, and they're using him wrong and all this kind of stuff. Like this is stuff people have noted. He was misused in Arizona, or has been. I guess he's still there, obviously. But if you could get him into an offense, and I'm hoping that Todd Monken knows what the hell he's doing. He has done very well with offensive systems throughout his entire career, wherever he's been. So I do have high hopes for what Monken can do. Give me this guy. Marvin Harrison Jr. has elite ceiling potential in the NFL. Has he reached it yet? No, not even close. But that's what's exciting because he could be had. And if this were the offer, I'm not saying it is, obviously it's just speculation, but if it was 39, hell, if it was 39 and just a little something else to make it work, do it. Because I think this guy has levels upon levels yet to unlock, and he's going to. Just give him time.
I mean, I think if Monken can figure out Mike Evans, he can figure out Marvin Harrison Jr. I know they're not the same person because, Marvin Harrison's more of like a technician versus just the raw power of Mike Evans, but they're still big enough guys, like you're 209 pounds versus 231. I get it. But he can figure it out. Like, I mean, there's no offensive system that Monken does. He just gets the player and figures it out. And that's what he does. And we can definitely all agree on one thing. Marvin Harrison Jr. has elite traits, just plain and simple, right?
Yes.
So that's big. And if he can get it out of Tate, he can get it out of Tate. But I mean, I think either way, if you look at Harrison, he should be able to get separation in this league. He can get separation in this league till he got injured this year. And Monken can figure it out.
Yeah, and I saw Cam White on Twitter was talking about the projected wide receiver room. If this trade were to take place, Andrew Berry somehow lands Marvin Harrison Jr. So that would really open things up if you wanted to take best player available. hell, Arvell Reese drops in the draft and he's sitting there at 6 and you just want to take Arvell Reese, then you can do it. You're not locked into like, well, we have to get a receiver. If the Browns love Francis Mauigoa or they want to take Monroe Freeling or somebody like that at 6, you can do it. And then at 24, go get Omar Cooper Jr. Put him in the slot and let Marvin Harrison Jr. do his thing on the outside. Woo-hoo! We're cooking, baby. We might have a wide receiver room worth talking about. Now you got Jerry Jeudy as like your wide receiver 3. He can play on the opposite boundary from Marvin Harrison. Then you've got Isaiah Bond, who can play kind of all the positions, and he can be your deep speed threat and everything. Okay, I'm a little more excited about this season with that wide receiver room.
Yeah, that's a good. You mentioned Bond. I think there's definitely something that Monken can unlock, and it's also fair to Bond that for him to go through an actual off season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, and if he can get any kind of consistency at quarterback, the sky's the limit. I think for Bond, just based on his deep ball playability. Yeah,
Isaiah Bond showed some things last year, some flashes that were exciting. So I'm interested to see how that looks. I'm interested to see how everybody looks in a brand new offensive system because everything with Kevin Stefanski was stale. It was outdated. Defenses knew what we were doing. I just think the offense as an entire unit at every position was just at a complete disadvantage at all times. So I want to see how that looks now under new leadership and new scheme and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be exciting to watch. And I think Andrew Berry's trading for a wide receiver. I think he's going to pull off a trade. He seems to be very adamant that he's getting somebody in a trade. For me, obviously, my preferred guy is Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think that'd be ideal, but we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe there's guys that we're not even thinking of that are available that are going to be available. Like who knows what happened at the combine. But I mean, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to see is we got a real offensive line coach as a dog, and he's going to flip some of these guys and he's going to make this offensive line really good. And I'm looking forward to see what Warhop can do. One thing I didn't realize is Warhop and our new offensive line, Howard, were together in Houston. I did not know that. So I figured I saw that today. Yeah.
You know what? I did see that. Yeah. I saw that the other day and I forgot about it, but that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I wonder if it's something that he advocated. And like, I know I kind of been griping about his low numbers and his run blocking, but maybe that's something goes, hey, a couple of these things will fix it. And, instead of 56, he's 66. And maybe that makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And just one last note on the Marvin Harrison Jr. thing. I might be in the minority with this, and I don't know how you feel, but if it wasn't 39, if the Cardinals were like, no, we would need 24 to move him, I would be okay with that because I feel like Andrew Berry would get like their second or third round pick also included with Marvin Harrison to then ship off 24, which I would be okay with. At 24, I don't think there's a receiver available in this year's draft who has the ceiling and elite traits that Marvin Harrison Jr. has. So if it was 24 and we got something back with Marvin Harrison Jr., I'd be totally okay with that too. But how do you feel?
Yeah, if you're telling me we're getting a second, absolutely, because then that's either another guard or it's another. Maybe it could be even like a tackle with pass rush ability, like a defensive tackle, I meant to say, and that'd be something that we need on our team. Like that'd be a top 50 pick. Like it's no brainer for me.
Okay. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments about the Marvin Harrison Jr. trade, Kyler Murray, all the free agents we talked about today, and anybody else that you want to see playing for the Browns in 2026. It's exciting, guys. The new league year is here, just a week away, so it's coming fast, and we're going to start getting some solid answers as to how this roster is going to start shaping up for the 2026 season, which hopefully will be better than it kind of felt for a while. Like maybe this was just going to be they're writing this off as a bad year and everything. But I don't know. The comments from Todd Monken, Andrew Berry, it seems like they've got some sort of a plan, and I hope it comes to fruition. I want to see what it turns out to be. So here we go. We're almost there.
Yeah, man. Let's just get her done. Let me know what that cap room is. Yeah, let me know what that cap room is.
That's right. And here we are as Browns fans in our Super Bowl window during the offseason, free agency and the draft and everything. And then, then it's like, when can we just get to September? Because I just want to see these guys on the field and everything. But it's going to be a fun ride to get there. And I'm excited to go to training camp this year. I want to see if they really are going to hit and be more physical and be more intentional about everything they're doing at practice. So that'll be exciting as well. But Kenny, thanks for joining me today and bringing the free agency and helping me break down this preview for these guys that hopefully will be coming to the Browns next week. Well, we will see. We will see.
Yeah. Let's round out that roster, man. We need a lot of players.
We sure do. So they're going to be very busy in free agency and the draft. So again, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Go to jointhedogs.com if you want to hang out with everybody in the Discord, have these kind of conversations all the time and bounce ideas off of like-minded Browns fans. Just a really cool place to be. So that's jointhedogs.com. Kenny and myself, we will be back at a later date, bringing you guys more Browns content. And until we see you guys in the next one, let's go Brownies.
Go Brownies. Hoo, 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 hoo.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't